Hello everybody and welcome back to another 1-64 unboxing and review video. And today I have two very special cars for you, both of them Mercedes 190s, and of course they are both made by Rhino Models. So on the one end you've got the raw tire shredding madness of an LS3 twin turbo 190e. It's built to dominate the tracks and streets alike, and on the other hand we also have the KS 190e by Khyzyl Saleem, and this car reimagines the 190e as a sort of futuristic motorsport icon with a body kit that looks ripped from like a cyberpunk movie or something like that. So both of them take the same humble German sedan and they convert them to radically different extremes. So let's just jump straight into the first one. And first up we've got this really awesome like dark gray sort of color Mercedes W201 190e as the box states, and of course it's made by a Rhino model. The box is pretty nice. It just has a lot of Mercedes logos all over the place, although there's no circle around them, just the actual star shape. And of course no manufacturer's label because of course Rhino model are unlicensed. But what they lack in licensing they really make up for in their detail work. So as you can see just from here how striking this car looks. So let's actually just get it straight out of there. Just sliding it out of the box like this, we can already see that it's got a really nice little background image. So let's just have a look at that quickly. Let's get it out of the box. And this is actually a picture of the real car. So this car does exist in real life, and it is quite a mean looking monster, and it is a mean car to begin with anyway. So that's a beautiful little picture of it, so that's highly appreciated, thank you. And let's check the model art. So first of all, the presentation, we've got this pretty nice black base, nothing too spectacular, and a very nice clear acrylic case with just one screw at the bottom. So let's actually take this car out of there, and it looks very cool. This color is extremely striking straight away. The first thing I notice is this sort of like patina effect in the paint. It's got an almost graphite kind of charcoal look to it, and it looks really impressive. So of course on the base it says Mercedes W201 190e, and we've got this really beautifully etched side view profile of this car, and it's really quite exquisite little detail. No special number or anything like that at all. And then the base itself has an almost carbon fiber sort of texture, although it's extremely fine, so I would just say it's more like a black plastic sort of texture. So just a little bit of quick history. The Mercedes 190e was released from 1982 to 93. It was kind of a luxury car from Mercedes in, you know, as their like new C-Class, I suppose. And it had a bunch of different engine variations like 1.8 liter, 2 liter, 2 and 2.3, 2.6. There was a diesel variant. And there was even some Cosworth engine variants, especially the 2.3 and the 2.5. And the EVO 2 variant had 204 horsepower, and that was actually ran in the DTM series, which is the German racing car series. So the 190e has a lot of history of, you know, like power and racing and all that. So now we come to this specific car, and you can see the race-inspired aesthetics of this car. Of course, for this car specifically, it's not only about aesthetics. What we have here is a brutal fusion of German engineering and American muscle. It has an LS3 twin turbo and it swaps the engine out for this crazy 6.2 liter V8 from a Corvette, which you can see in that little window over there. And it pushes crazy insane power, roughly above 1,000 horsepower, which is just insane. So it's kind of a sleeper turned monster built for the raw performance of the street and the track alike. And I must say, it looks absolutely crazy. So overall, we've got this beautiful classical Mercedes E190 profile, and it's got quite a boxy shape, of course, as is typical of the era. And the car looks exquisite in this color. This car is available in other colors. There's a black variant with the same body kit, although I feel like because of the black wheels and the black sections, the front grille, all those sort of things, I think this graphite color just helps the car pop quite a lot more. But let's actually get into some details. So straight away, the color itself has got a sort of satin kind of sheen to it, and I really like this graphite. I know I've mentioned a few times. So jumping into the front, we've got a very cool front windscreen that says filthy, and this car really is filthy the way it looks. Wow, I'm very impressed. Then of course we go into this bonnet or hood area, and it's something unlike I've never seen before. We've got this very cool carbon sort of section around this crazy cutout. Of course, with an engine like this, you need a ton of cooling, so what better than to just cut a huge massive hole in your bonnet straight away, and there you go. That was the best solution, I suppose. And then of course we've got these two sides with these little air outlets as well. And if you look here, you can see how beautifully fine the detail is on this tiny Mercedes logo. It is absolutely minuscule, and I must be careful not to break it off. You can see, compared to the thread in my starting to wear glove, you can see how tiny it is, and it does protrude from the bonnet as well, so you can see the little silver arrow sticking up over there. Then in the front we have quite a nice little grille finished off in black, and there is actually a 3D texture just behind it to represent the grille. And we've got these really beautiful headlights, and it looks extremely close to the real car, and it's almost hyper realistic if you look at it. We've got the little indicators on the side. It almost looks like there are even bulbs in the lights themselves, and that is extremely impressive. And then of course we head down to this crazy humongous front splitter, and it's actually held on by these support braces just to make sure it doesn't kind of move in the wind. Of course, with these kind of cars you need a lot of downforce, and you need to be able to put a lot of weight on this, essentially, because the air pushes down so heavily, so it needs a lot of support to keep this car in place. And even on the bottom grid or grille, you can see that it's got a 3D texture grille inside there. I think it's a beautiful finish and extremely high detail. And in the side we've got this little winglet sort of bending up from the front lip, and you can see how crisp all the line work is. Even on this the bumper split line, it's very crisp and really sharp line work on this car. Even in the folds of this front extended arch, you can see how crisp the line work is there, even with the paint on it. Sometimes the paints kind of like blur out the edges, I suppose you could say. They fill in the gaps, but with this one it's really crisp and really vivid actually, and it's a very nice finish. Then of course we head to these crazy 5-spoke wheels, and I really like the fact that it's also got the little holes around the edges. It's almost like this aero disc kind of look to it. And of course, there is no sort of writing or anything like that we can see. It's just a brilliant black gloss finish on the wheels. And then we've got just a simple looking tire, but it even looks very nice. And I'm trying to see if we can see some kind of brakes behind it, although to me it seems to be the case that there are no brake discs or calipers behind it. However, the real car of course has extremely highly upgraded brake discs, pretty much competition series to stop this 1000 horsepower monster. And then of course on the side we've got the exhaust. So this car is extremely wild, and that's where the exhaust comes out. And underneath I like the little touch that it says V8 bi-turbo. So I think it would be pretty obvious to anyone seeing this car in real life that that's a fun little joke on the side there. And once again, we got really crisp shut lines on the doors, and even the door handles finished off in this little black. And we've got these tiny racing style rear view mirrors, so of course very small in profile, just to be able to cut the wind quite a lot easier than the big bulky ones of the original. And then we've got this really nice C-pillar here as well, and it's even got the detail underneath for the vents. And you can see on the side it's also got the racing style window insert, so it's got tiny like etchings, those dots going around the rear. And we've even got a necker duct for the airflow to go into the rear to cool this area as well. And then we've got this very intriguing looking rear body kit. It's almost got, if you look from the front, it curves around and then it goes straight, and then it's got this very classical curve on the end. Almost looks like a very old classic car. It's kind of an intriguing look because the car is very boxy by itself in essence, and then we've got this flowing element in this design. It's very intriguing, and it gives the car quite a strange but very nice character. And then of course we've got quite a nice set of reflections on there as well, so you can see how nicely this graphite color hits the light. And then rear wheels are exactly the same as the front. They do protrude quite a lot more, I suppose. You can see on the front they're kind of flush with the wheel arch, whereas the back ones are maybe quite a bit wider, I would say, but I don't know if it's the case on this side. Maybe they've just slipped a little bit, but anyways, same kind of wheels. Then heading to the rear, we've got these really beautiful tail lights, and once again the detail is really exquisite. They've done a very impressive job. It's got a lot of three-dimensionality with those horizontal stripes running across, just like the real car. And then we've also got a little Mercedes emblem in black, the 190E, as well as this crazy number plate KB880B. It looks very funky. And then we've got this insane looking rear diffuser. It protrudes so much, and it's got such a wild shape. It almost looks like a shaver for your hair or your beard or something like that. You could almost put it on the end of a shaver. It's very funky and extremely wild. And then heading to the rear wing, we've got some nice little writing there that says EVO, which I can say it definitely looks to be the case with this car. And then we've got this double like fin style rear wing. So of course this top piece would be adjustable on the real car. And the EVO already had a really high wing, and this just takes it to the absolute next level. And then we've also got looks like some air outlets or possibly some air inlets on the rear deck lid of the boot. So that's a very nice little touch. And then here we've also got the fuel filler cap on this side. And other than that, this side is pretty much identical to the first side that we checked out. And I must say, this car looks absolutely crazy. It's extremely menacing. And now let's actually head into this interior, because it's extremely prominent with this vivid red color. So we've got this crazy looking front dashboard, and it's an extremely wild color to have in this car. It's such a beautiful contrast from the exterior to the interior, and extremely wild. And I really love the fact that it says filthy with this red background. It just looks absolutely menacing. So we can see that we've got a pair of bucket seats, and you can see they're actually perforated in the center, and that's not something very common that we see often with these cars. And then we've also got this extremely vivid roll cage going around the car, and you can see it quite a lot more in the back window as well. And the rear window also has the rear heated glass visible. And we've got quite a beautiful dashboard. I shall try to zoom in for you as much as I can. But you can see it's actually got this two-tone look to it with the black inlay. And it's got quite a lot of buttons in the car there. You can see the kind of radio, it's got the gear shifter, and it's also got these red bucket seats. And that's actually a lot of detail. You can even see that there might be some dials in there. Of course, there is the steering wheel as well. We can have a look from this angle, see if we can see any more. So looking through this front glass here, you can see that we do have quite a bit of detail on the steering wheel itself. It's got a little logo there, and we don't see any gauges, but I suspect what it has is a digital gauge cluster in the middle there, because you can see the shape of it, although it's not illuminated or anything like that. So obviously if it's switched off, it would look like that. And with the light shone inside, you can actually see that we've got the little door handle as well in there, just to open the door from the inside. You can kind of see it. It's not very easy to see. And also in the rear, we've got just a kind of black finish and a completely stripped out interior. So they've done a crazy job on this. And now let's of course jump into the part that everyone has been waiting for, including me, which is to check out this insane engine. I wonder how good the quality is. Wow. Okay, well, that looks pretty impressive, my goodness. Jeez, that's crazy. Look at that. You could see that crazy LS engine in there, and you can see that it's got this full-on twin turbo setup. You can see where the intake pipes are heading from, and you can see where the exhausts come out, and you can even see like that the pipe for the exhaust is actually heading in the correct direction, just the way it should be. I mean, that is absolutely insane. Wow. Imagine this thing in real life. I would love to hear this car driving by, or seeing it at the racetrack or something like that. And I really love this touch that it's also got this red interior for the engine bay. I'm a huge fan of cars that have a contrast in the engine bay comparing to the outside. It's more the case with show cars and like race cars, or even with race cars, not really, but show cars definitely. And I love the fact that this car, even though it's built as a street/track race inspired custom build, they did take a little bit of aesthetics into consideration, and even in the engine bay, and that is just absolutely wild. And of course you can see that the bonnet is completely see-through over there, and underneath not much detail. It's just pretty much straightforward, but that is extreme for this car. What a wild beast. and I've got to be careful with that little logo as well. So I thought I'd give you a little bit of a dynamic kind of look to the car, where you can see the way this body kit is made and how menacing this car looks. They really nailed this extreme aesthetic for this car, especially combining this like race heritage with this tuner sort of street racing culture. And I think they've done a really wonderful job on this car. The color is really striking, especially with its black contrasted areas, and this red is so awesome. It's extremely vivid, and it almost gives the essence of this racy, you know, like very powerful and sinister kind of soul of the car, and it brings it through even in the visuals with the use of the color. So well done to whoever came up with this scheme, because it's a really radical and insane one. So now, of course, with radical designs, let's talk about what Khyzyl Saleem has brought to the table for us. So here we have the Khyzyl Saleem E190. It says Mercedes-Benz 190E EVO 2. Actually, it says Mercedes-Benz. And I actually found that the other box has the same issue, Mercedes. So that's kind of a funky little error. And oh well, there you go, there's a price too. They are roughly around this kind of price. You can find them sort of sub £20 here and there, but the usual price is between £20 and £25 for these cars. You can find them anywhere, kind of eBay, AliExpress, all those sort of sites. They're pretty widely available. And this one is a little bit newer than the previous one, but they're not brand new. They are like at least quite a few months old. But it's got a really cool visual to it. So let's get it open. So let's get it out of this box over here. And once again, we've got a really beautiful graphic of the car itself. So I'm not sure if this is a real one or if it's just a digital rendering. Khyzyl Saleem is known for a lot of his digital renderings, so it might just be one of those, but it's a beautiful looking image. So thank you, that's awesome. Straight away we can see that the box is pretty much identical to the other Mercedes. We've just got this normal clear cover, and it comes off relatively easily, but it actually does have a little bit of hold, so it's not so loose, which is always appreciated. And we've got this beautiful little plinth. Of course, this one says Mercedes-Benz 190E EVO 2, so we can compare it with the other car because it has a similar look, although it is not the same. So they actually made a proper etching for each car individually from the side profile, and that's a very cool little thing. Of course, this one has the same base as the other one, so it's also got this little, I wouldn't really call it a carbon fiber texture, it's just sort of this lined kind of 3D texture that the car has. And looking at the car straight away, once again we've got a really striking color over here, and the car is extremely cool. The front looks so strange. It's really interesting. So of course this car is designed by Khyzyl Saleem. He's also known as the Kaiser, and he's a UK based digital artist and an automotive designer as well. And he's really well known for these like bold futuristic sort of concepts that he comes up with, and his car renderings. And it's always usually a mix of like a motorsport inspiration as well as tuning culture and quite a lot of sci-fi pretty often. And his works have actually influenced quite a lot of things like video games, like in Need for Speed he's had some stuff, as well as some real world car builds. So he's done some collaborations with Ken Block, for instance, as well as BMW. And in my 118 series, I actually reviewed his 118 KSR Porsche, which is made by Solido. So if you're interested, I would suggest go and check it out. That's a very cool car that they've done as well. So yeah, go take a look at that one. So starting off with the paintwork, we've got a quite nice gloss finish over here. You can see how nicely it reflects the light, and although it is quite gloss, it's also got this extreme metallic sheen, and it almost gives it a look of satin. So I don't even understand this color. It's like gloss slash satin slash metallic. It's a mix of all of those, and what a cool color to put on a car with such a strong cyberpunk style influence. I think he's done a really good job. And once again, a highly contrasted car with a black rims and black front mask, which I'll get to in a moment. But the overall look and quality of the car is really impressive. So of course, let's just jump into some details. On the roof, we've got this quite crisp looking shut line for the sunroof. And then of course, we've got a really dark interior in there. And the front windscreen there says Haggerty Media. So that's kind of nice as well. And then of course, this nice silver color continues on the bonnet and ends kind of abruptly. So whereas the other Mercedes had a more standard kind of shape to the front, this one actually makes quite a huge difference comparing to the original style front bonnet and bumper area. So we've got this really intriguing looking black mask on the front here, and it is quite a wild sort of approach. As I mentioned, Khyzyl is known for his peculiar sort of designs, and of course that's why it's he's become so famous, you know. And once again, we've got a tiny little Mercedes emblem just sticking out of the bonnet there, hanging in the free air, just like we did have with the other one, of course. And then we've got this really open style front intake that just says EVO 3. Although, as far as I know, this car is called the EVO 2, but nonetheless, there are 3 little stripes next to each other over there, so that's interesting. And on the side it says 190E, also with the 3 stripes. And of course we've got these really recessed sort of headlights. You can see how deep they are embedded into the car, and they look pretty simplistic. It almost looks like an old Audi's headlights or like an old Skoda or something, but I kind of wish they actually made a rendition of the way that his renderings were. So you can see that he's actually got these little like very cyber looking LED style bars, and even the reflector section over here is quite a lot different. And I mean, it's pretty simplistic here, but I just wish that front headlights had those 2 split little LEDs, because it really gives it quite a strong character. I mean, you can see the difference in the front. Yeah, it would have been a nice touch if they did it like that. But nonetheless, let's continue with the car itself. So we've got this really crazy front black mask, and you can see where you would get some kind of an LED strip or something underneath there. It's kind of blacked out. Although I think on the rendering it's actually a little intake, so it could be LEDs or it could be an intake on the bonnet there. So that's what we get with the car. And then of course we've got a really nice 3D textured grille, which is a very beautifully finished off. And then this front mask kind of ends, and then we head into this large silver lip, which is very reminiscent of these racing 190Es. And then we get onto the side, and we've got this crazy aero disc type of wheels, and I really love the contrast between the black and the silver Mercedes emblem. I'm always a fan of the black wheels with a silver sort of center. It gives such a cool contrast. And once again, we've got this kind of perforated edge of the rim, but this one is just a solid kind of disc. Although it does have quite a lot of depth and three-dimensionality, you can see how deep that aero disc actually runs in the car. And then we have this cool little wide body, and once again we've got quite a soft, sort of subtle approach to it. The way it kind of shoots down from the wheel arch, it gives it kind of a like a subtle, not subtle, like soft kind of approach for such a harsh, you know, square kind of shaped car. And then on the side we've got the EVO emblem, and then we've got very crisp lines once again on the door shuts, and of course it says 190E, and this one does not have any rear door shuts, so you can see that the entire car has been like filled in, paneled in, I suppose. So you've only got front door access, whereas on the rear, on the other one, we did see the rear doors would be, you know, like still on the car. So that's very cool. He's made this car into essentially like a two-door coupe variant, I suppose. And then we've got this really nice black DLO just finished off, nice crisp manner, and of course pretty standard looking rear view mirrors for the 190E. And one of the nice intriguing things is we've got this cant rail heading all the way from the A pillar through the top there and down into this like C pillar over here, and that's actually finished off in this kind of matte finish. So that's a really nice and interesting little touch, which most people would not do something like that. So that is a very nice touch. Of course, it's a great job by Khyzyl Saleem. I'm thinking maybe I should start doing what he's doing, actually. It sounds like such an awesome job. I'd really love to do what he does, actually. Yeah, maybe I'll make friends with him and we could design some cars together. That would be awesome. So yeah, that's a pretty good idea, Khyzyl. So give me a shout out if you're listening. Drop me a message, or maybe I'll drop you one. I'm also an automotive designer, just to let you know. So it would be cool to do something together. Maybe a special model or something. But yeah, maybe one day. That would be awesome. So jumping into the rear, once again we've got a little 190E badge, and then we've got a little Mercedes logo in the center there, and it's kind of intriguing because it's got a black background as well, which is a very nice little touch. And then once again that EVO logo, and we've got these really cool darkened sort of tail lights, but they are clear as well, so it's got like a really intriguing look to it. I love the way that looks, actually. And then of course we've got these two little round exhausts, and we have a subtle bit of a rear diffuser as well. I mean, it looks really nice, and the way they curve around this section that's embedded around the diffusers is really nice and really well executed design, actually. And of course this rear diffuser is nowhere near as ridiculous as the other one. I mean, look at that. That's just crazy. But I really like Khyzyl's approach, and the surfaces here as well on this rear section are so beautiful. The way that it curves around all the way from the front door, you can see the extension of the rear fender starts already here, and it goes all the way to the end there. And the way the light hits off it and reflects off it, it's just really beautiful. And I love the look of this car, actually. It's really awesome. And then we come to this really high wing, once again finished off in this beautiful silver. And it's even got this little ducktail swept up kind of section, and quite a lot of overhang just above the boot itself. And you can see that it's also got a little bit of clearance in there, so you can actually see through it. So that is quite a lot of attention to detail. I'm not sure if that should be hanging off the end quite so much, but if it is, then wow, well done, Rhino model. That's insane. And then in the rear window, once again, we've got this Haggerty Media logo. No rear defrost or anything like that, but we do have this nice little antenna, which looks beautifully perched on the car and also helps give it a little bit of race car style and this kind of cyber look to the car. Unfortunately though, one sad point is we don't have an opening bonnet, so we can't see any kind of power source of the car. It would be a really nice addition, although as I said, this car concentrates more on visuals rather than this insane raw power of this twin turbo variant. So it's two different worlds. And this one's got a really beautiful interior as well, and really highly detailed. You can see that we've got this really nice little surround for the gear shift, and then we've even got some colored inlays on the dashboard. And this car, you can see, actually has a gauge cluster with the gauges in there, so you can see the little dials, and you can see it's got a very nicely shaped steering wheel, and it's even got the air vents coming out of the dashboard. And you can also see that it's got a bit of a roll cage in there too. So zoom out a little bit and you can see it's kind of a heavy looking roll cage, to be honest, and that's embedded in there quite nicely. And then we've also got these bucket seats on the interior, and we've even got the center rear view mirror in the car, which actually looks like it reflects some light perhaps. And then from this angle you can see those gauges just a little bit better on the interior. And I mean, it's absolutely minuscule and the detail work is extremely fine. And then on the inside of the door, you can once again see that we've got the door opening little latch, and even that's finished off in a different color. So wonderful work and extremely well made model and extremely highly precise, and I'm extremely impressed by this car, so well done, that's cool. I just wanted to quickly give you this low down dynamic view of the car so you can see how beautifully the light actually hits off the surfaces of this Mercedes. And I must say, what a crazy and wild reimagining of this car. I love this cyberpunk approach to any of these sort of cars, and of course Khyzyl style really hits through in this concept as well, and I really love this one too. So finally we come to the conclusion. Well, Rhino Models knocked it out of the park with these two models. The detailing work that they have are absolutely exquisite, and I really like how crisp all the line work is on these cars. The quality of the paint looks absolutely spectacular, and I love both of these colors. Neither of them are a normal sort of color, the normal gloss colors that you would see on other cars. Both of them are extremely striking in their own way, and both of them suit the individual cars really, really well. This twin turbo is extremely sinister and it just looks super menacing. And then in contrast to that, we've got this like cyber style looking one, and it's like racing culture meets this like futuristic kind of racing culture. And what a culmination of the two styles, especially with the fact that both of them came from such humble beginnings of this Mercedes 190e. So I'm extremely impressed, and especially at the price point that these Rhino models come in. I mean, it's just crazy. The value for money is just absolutely insane with the quality of work they've done and the detail on these cars. I'm just extremely impressed. So tell me which one you guys would want to pick up if you could only choose one, or would you want to get both of them? And what other color variants would you like to see, or any different sort of styles you would like to see of this car? Let me know in the comments what you think, and thank you everybody for watching. Take it easy, and I hope you guys have a good one. Ciao.